Hello and welcome to busyworksbeats.com. Today we're going to mix some vocals in the hip hop style right here in Pro Tools. You guys will get the downloads for this. Just go to busyworksbeats.com, sign up for free, and just click on where it says free downloads. So the first thing we need to do is look at where we ended in our first draft of the song. So here's the final copy.
Free band. Free band. Free band. Yeah. All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the Ruler. All these beats in my email, I didn't got to choosing. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas. Fuck these niggas. What they do? Hopped out that yours and that yours spit a plane. Swapped out that rollie for that diamond from Plain Jane. Caught up back in plays, I'm the motherfucking man.
All right, so the record sounds cool. You know, I mixed it the day I recorded it, so I wasn't going back to hear things. So it's a pretty good mix for just doing everything in one day. It did take a long time. So vocal mixing is not just do this every single time. I don't want to feed you guys a fantasy. What vocal mixing is a back and forth. You listen to it, you go back, you realize you missed this. You keep going back and forth and back and forth. It could take hours. I want to give you guys the real frame because a lot of people show on YouTube 10-minute videos, but in real life it takes hours. I can't record hours of video for you guys, but I'll give you guys a really simple vocal chain and then how to make it your own. So the first thing we need to do is listen to the vocals pre-mixed. So there's three main vocals. You have a lead vocal, you have the ad lib for that, which is the catchphrases in the background, and then you have a little filler. So really it's only 2 tracks of vocals going on. So we're just gonna solo just that first verse. And also the beat in this project is not mixed. I did that so that you guys could hear stuff before it gets mixed to show you the power of mixing. So this is the beat before it gets mixed. And we're not going to waste time mixing the beat right now. We're just focused on vocals. But if you want a little more energy in your beat and you don't feel like doing a bunch of stuff, just add the plugin called Standard Clip. It's not free, but it's well worth your investment. Switch this mode. I like it on Soft Clip Pro. Keep it on 4x. And I usually lower this to about 2 dB, negative 2 dB. And I'll push volume into it, or I'll turn the saturator up. So either or. So if I want more grittiness, I'll turn this up. And if I want just more volume, I'll push the volume into it. Shot it like a diamond, feel like Rick the Ruler. All these beats in my email, I didn't got to choose it. Hopped in a booth, then went. All right, that's a pretty decent level for a beat. I don't need it to scream. I just need to know where the beat would sit so that I can know how far to push the vocals. Again, usually I would have a mixed beat by this point. I wouldn't have an unmixed beat at this stage. Nextly, if you want to take this deeper, go to busyworksbeats.com/mixing fundamentals. I have a whole mixing course that goes over the fundamentals of compression, EQ, reverb, delays, vocal mixing, how to mix acoustic versus, synthetic like trap and hip hop. So it's hip hop based. And then I also get into acoustic tracks. So that will teach you way more about mixing from the ground up. So what I need to do is figure out. Now, another thing before we get into the technicals is in the vocal, we have to listen to basically in the vocal, how you record it is 90% of the job. So I was recording, I don't think I had the blanket at the time. So I was recording to where it was picking up a lot of the room and you could hear the reverb of the room. You can't undo the reverb of a room without these high end plugins that cost a lot of money. And even still, it won't necessarily take away the room, but Isotope has plugins to help you get rid of the room. But again, they're expensive.
All this ice,
So if you just listen to the reflections off the wall.
Need a box, shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond, feel like Rick the Ruler. All these beats in my email, I didn't got to choosing. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas, fuck these niggas, what they do?
So you can hear the walls because I'm amplifying my voice. The voice is traveling around the room. It's bouncing off the walls and the mic is recording not only my initial vocal coming to the mic, but then the walls bouncing back into the mic. And that's very hard to take out because it's essentially a copy of the vocals altered in a subtle way coming back to the mic many times in a second. So that's why that's very complicated to take that out of your recording. There is no magic plugin, guys. If anything, there's isotope to remove the reverb in a recording. But if you have that in your recording, you're like, that's going to ruin your mixing. So I want to start there. Okay. Now, nextly, you can add a plugin called NS1. And this is from Waves here. I've heard Baines, who was Young Thug's engineer, talk about this plugin and how he basically was recording Young Thug and there were people in the background and he couldn't figure out how to get the people out the background. So he used Waves NS1. I like it, but the thing is it muffles your voice. So that's the only drawback to this.
Out that yours and that yours be the plane. Swapped out that rollie for the dime.
And even still, even when your vocal gets louder, you still hear the reverb. So the reverb is not away from the recording. So I want to harp on that a million times, guys. It's about the recording first, then this other stuff.
From plain Jane.
Okay, let's bring the vocal back down to where it was.
Put up.
How do I switch this thing here? Let's see.
Back in place, I'm the motherfucking
Okay, so we need to restore our volume.
man.
So it's a little low on.
All we do is win, win,
Put some.
win, win, win. Win, win, win.
Now somebody's gonna ask me what's the magical level for a vocal. There is none. Okay, so let's hear it with the beat. Firstly, it depends on what are called harmonics. So we got rid of the reverb. Okay, next thing we want to do is amplify the signal. I really like UAD's LA2A. That's just my favorite compressor, one of my favorite compressors for my specific sound. So this is a very simple compressor. It's 2 knobs. You turn one up and the other one down. It's very simple. So what we're gonna do is turn up the peak reduction here.
I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the Ruler.
That's gonna basically compress. It's just taking off the really high levels of the vocal. We can see right here, certain points of the vocal become really pointy, like right there, very pointy. So I want that very pointy part that doesn't really add detail to the sound. It does catch the ear more, but we want to pull some of that pointiness down to where like this one is. So if we pull that pointiness down to where that is, everything will stay even, and then we could turn everything up uniformly. And we just taking care of some of those transients, just shaving them down just a little bit.
All these beats in my email, I didn't got the
And also this is where you can get a lot of volume.
Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas. Fuck these niggas. What they do?
Now, if you overly compress, that is a sound in hip hop, but if you overly compress, it becomes, I'll say, boring because our ear light's dynamic. So it keeps the ear's attention. So we can push this one really far, but
shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the Ruler. All these beats in my email, I didn't got to choose it.
So we have to determine what style are we going for, the super compressed sound or just the subtly compressed sound. So in this one, I like the more aggressive compression.
Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas. Fuck these niggas. What they do? Hopped out that yours and that yours be the plane. Swapped out that rollie for the diamond from.
Now, if you still have areas in your vocal that you want to tame, I would recommend it comes with the Pro Tools bundle, but it's called, I haven't used it in so long. I haven't been in Pro Tools in a minute. It's called the Pro Multiband Dynamics. Okay, we're going to use this to find the problem areas of the vocal. Usually the problem areas are the boominess of the vocal. So let's start in what's called the low mid. Let's solo this. That's where the hand over the mouth type sound comes from. So we can narrow this down, but let's keep it broad in this range. And what we're gonna do is just select the threshold and slowly pull it down. The depth is how much dB it will take out. So let's just keep this at -3. Basically in increments of 3, you hear differences in the volume of your vocal. So just do increments of 3 when you're first starting. You'll have an easier time. So we're gonna lower this little white thing here, this is a threshold, down to capture more of the signal. And basically you wanna push the sound until it gets rid of that thing that you're hearing that's so heavy in energy. So let's go down to -6, which is our next increment of 3. Now remember, mixing is not the solution to a bad recording. I just want to say that a million times because you guys will be buying plugins for years. But if you record in a terrible environment, it will sound terrible, most likely. Okay, so It won't get in your thick head until 1,000 plugins later.
Speed of plane. Swapped out that rollie for the diamond from yeah. All this ice I
And let's just A/B it to make sure that we're not just taking away the vibrancy of the vocal.
need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the Ruler. All these beats in my email. I didn't got to choosing. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas.
So another thing about vocals is we don't really need low frequency information. I'm going to load up my favorite EQ. It's called Pro Q3 by Fab Filter. So let's look up Fab Filter Pro Q3. Now in Pro Q3, what I usually use it on, I switch the mode at the bottom here to natural phase. I learned it from Amon Jackson, the natural phase. And we're going to put this on 80 Hertz and then switch this to a high pass filter, but then switch this to 24 dB per octave to get rid of anything below a certain point. Now my voice goes really low, so I have vital information sometimes around 80 Hertz. Now for this performance, I don't think I went that low of frequency. So the main thing in your vocal is you want to keep what's called a fundamental frequency, which is your lowest frequency of the vocal in this case. It's just the lowest hill you could find.
Hopped out that years and that years speed of
So because I was trying to emulate another artist, my vocal was in a higher octave than normal. Normally I can go all the way down to 60 Hertz naturally just from speaking. But because I was emulating somebody, I was in a higher octave. So you're just trying to make sure you don't get rid of the fundamental frequency because that can really thin out your vocal.
Swapped out that rollie.
And that just takes care of any mic rumble, hitting the mic, stomping, rumbling from outside. Just all those background lower frequency things.
For the diamond from
So let's just hear it without all this.
all this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the Ruler.
Here's with just the correction stuff.
All these beats in my
Let me turn it up a little bit so we could at least hear it in context. So let's do this. Okay, so here's without plugins.
yeah. All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the Ruler. All these beats in my email. I didn't got to choosing. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin.
And then here's with the correction.
Yeah. All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a
So I think it did muffle the sound a little bit. So what I'll do to kind of counterbalance that, you got to make sure that when we're doing this, we're not just undoing the point of the NS1. So I'm going to boost using a high shelf.
diamond. Feel like Rick the Ruler.
I like to start at about 12K. That's just the frequency. I like to turn up the Q so that I'm only affecting certain frequencies above a certain point.
All these beats in my email. I didn't got to choosing. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas. Fuck these niggas. What they do? Hopped out that years and that years.
And if I have to come down in frequency, I might come down to 8K if anything.
Be the plane. Swapped out that rollie
The goal is just to get that vocal to sound open. So here's before.
for the diamond from yeah. All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came
Okay, so that's before. Here's
and shot
after.
it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the Ruler. All these beats in my email.
So it's simply a volume thing in that case. I just got to pull up the gain. So sometimes you don't need plugins. You just need gain adjusted. 99% of the time that's the case. Now here's with the compressor, which adds the gain.
I didn't got to choosing. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin.
So if you want the correction after the compressor, you could pull this multiband after the LA2A.
We don't trust these niggas. Fuck these niggas. What they do? Hopped out that years and that years. Be the plane.
But if we cut out too much of the signal, it becomes thin. So this is the back and forthness of the vocal is keeping enough there, but not taking away everything. And this is why recording is so important, because we wouldn't have to do this if we recorded well.
All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the Ruler. All these
And we can go back and add an EQ to try to at least fill out some of the remaining gaps. So let's go back
beats in my email. I didn't got to choose.
and just take care of some of those harsh zones.
Hopped in a booth.
So what we're gonna do here is grab these headphones, hit Control, left click. Oops.
Then went stupid over Metro.
So that 1K is it's a lot of energy in that zone.
In that years.
There's a lot of energy at 500. So whenever you find a zone divided by 2, chances are you'll find another problem area down an octave. So 500 and 1K are giving me a lot of energy. So I need to tame those harmonics. And then 200 just needs to be like tamed a little bit to where it's not jumping up and down and up and down. You know, imagine somebody just swinging a mic back and forth when they're singing. It would just be like up and down and up and down. So what we want to do is keep that stable. So let's focus on the 500 area. Somewhere around like 450. And let's just pull this down. Now we could do just a gain drop where it just turns that down, but I'm going to use what's called dynamic mode, to where now I'm just only until the volume gets to a certain point will it pull it down in volume.
I didn't got to choose it.
We can set that level here.
Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boom.
And that way it doesn't always just pull out that area. It still lets stuff live, but only when it gets too loud will it pull it out. So again, let's double this. So 450 is about 900 up top, doubled. Okay, so we have something. So what I'm also going to do is pull in what's called the Q, so that I'm not affecting all these frequencies, because they can start to stack up. So what we're going to do is tighten the Q so that we can get more precise. You don't have, there's no like rule about this. We're just taking out areas that have a lot of energy. Okay, so 450, 950 or 900-ish, and then and somewhere around like 1800, I can hear a lot of that energy building up. So we're just going to take these out. Again, it's very microscopic.
Shout out to my
but a lot of what we hear in the vocal is just too much energy in a space. Okay, so when we identify where does that too much energy happen, then it becomes easier. Now we need a de-esser. So let's see what de-essers we have. I know we have a waves de-esser. There is, I'm trying to think what other de-esser. I think I used the Weiss de-esser. That was on the master. So let's use actually Pro DS. Fab Filter, where's it at? Fab Filter has one called Pro DS. I like this one because it's, you can switch it from vocal mode. And it just has a nice, easy interface. So we want to pull the threshold up to where we're not taking too much energy out.
Like a diamond, feel like Rick the Ruler. All these beats in my email, I didn't got to choose.
And the range is how much dB we're willing to take out if the volume exceeds a certain point. So 6 dB is fine. You just push the de-esser until it starts to sound like you're not saying S anymore. It sounds like a TH.
Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boom. We don't trust these niggas. Fuck these niggas.
So there's so many people that just omit de-essing, and it literally hurts people's ears when they listen because the energy builds up too much. It's almost like putting like a magnifying glass to the sun, and then it just laser beams that sun. Same thing with frequencies. We can laser beam with too much resonance in a specific area. So now the last thing I remember from this vocal, and I just realized we did all this on the wrong track. But last thing we want for the vocal is pitch correction. So my auto tune isn't loading up right now. So we're going to use what's called, what is that waves one called? Man, not auto tune, but it'll come to my mind in a second.
All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the Ruler. All these beats in my email, I didn't got to choose it.
Okay, it's called Waves Tune. Almost forgot the name of it. Okay, so what we're gonna do is actually put this on the correct track. This was supposed to go on this track up here. I marked it the wrong color. So luckily it's the same basic thing, but there's like a couple doubles in here. So we're gonna move these plugins up. So the first thing we're gonna do is pitch correction. And this key that we're in right now is G minor. So let's switch this to a natural minor. We're gonna go to G. You have to know a little music theory to even like set this up. It's not, if you don't know what you're doing with music theory, it's gonna be a little bit difficult. And then we're gonna have the speed pretty low for like a future vibe, almost at 0, and note transition lower to create that robotic sound. Okay, so let's open up that track. So again, the lower these values, the more robotic it sounds.
We don't trust these niggas. Fuck these niggas. What they do? Hopped out that years and that years be the plane.
But that's part of future sound, is that fast auto tune.
Swapped out that rollie for that diamond from.
So I just pulled them up just to where it's not too like with the pitch.
All this ice, I need a box.
And then nextly after the pitch correction, I'm going to do the NS1, which takes care of that room reverb. Then we're going to do the EQ, which is just cutting out the lows in that case. we're going to do the corrective multiband compressor, which is taking out some of that low. Now I might bring that back just depending on how thin the vocal sounds. But remember, we're mixing to a beat, so we don't always need the vocal to have super, super thick low frequencies because it might clash with the beat. It depends on the beat. And then we have the compressor, which is just pulling up the volume of the vocal basically. Then we have the Pro Q3, which is adding, actually we're doing more correction. And then lastly, we have the de-esser after everything. And that last de-esser takes care of all the additive coloring that we might add to the vocal.
Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the Ruler. All these beats in my email. I didn't got to choose it. Hopped in.
So I'm going to go to the vocal because this one seems louder for some reason. So let's pull down the vocal a little bit.
The booth then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas. Fuck these niggas. What they do? Hopped out that yours and that yours be the plane. Swapped out that rollie for that diamond from yeah. All this ice, I need a box. Shot.
Okay, so let's now the master has mastering on it, so there's still a layer of mastering even after vocal mixing. We're still gonna have to master the entire track, but let's keep going back to the original just to see.
To my jeweler, I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the Ruler. All these beats in my email. I didn't got to choose it. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin.
Okay, now that's with mastering. So you guys got to know the stages of mixing, because if you compare it to a master track, there's still, we got to process the beat. We got to, still a lot of steps.
All this.
Oh, so let's mute the master.
I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler.
So we're just listening right now. Does the vocal sound cleaner than the original? Does it sound leveled enough to where it's not bouncing up and down? And do we have the EQ situated to where we're getting the right tone?
Yeah, all this.
So what we're going to do as a check is just go through each band and listen to solo each band.
In my email, I didn't got to choose it. Hopped in a booth and went stupid over Metro Boomin. What they do? Hopped out that yours and that yours be the plane. Swapped out.
So sometimes we actually have too much high frequency. So here's where I'm going to start balancing the highs.
That rollie for yeah. All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the Ruler. All these beats in my email. I didn't got to choose it. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas. Fuck these niggas. What they do? Hopped out that yours and that yours be the plane. Swapped out that rollie for that diamond from yeah. All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the Ruler. All these beats in my email. I didn't got to choose it. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust.
So again, the vocal, what we can do now is start getting into the creative side of vocal mixing. This video is getting kind of long. So what I'll do is show you a couple tricks. We're not going to get like super crazy. Firstly, we need to set the tempo. The tempo of this track was 138. We're in G minor. And so we're going to create a new aux track. So let's go to stereo, aux track, and let's call this like delay. So the delay I like is debating where I want this track. Okay, the delay I like, let me make this a different color. Let's make this like pink or purple. And there's one called mod delay in Pro Tools. And I run it on default. I don't mess with the settings unless it's like a simple time difference between left and the right, or like a modulation pitch difference. Okay, so I usually don't mess with the timing or anything. And then we're going to run that into Deverb, which is a very good reverb out of Pro Tools. So we're going to run the delay into the reverb, and it's a really unique sound, creates like a nice atmosphere. What we need to do is send this track, think of tracks like Children, and they need to go on a bus. So let's send Child, called lead vocal, on a bus, and it's going to go on bus 1 and 2. Actually, that's taken. So let's do bus 3 and 4. So now it's on bus 3 and 4. We're going to give it 100% of the child to go on the bus to 3 and 4. Now bus 3 and 4 has to go to a school. That school is going to be the input to the aux. So we're going to go to bus 3 and 4 in this case. And now we've sent the metaphorical child track on the bus 3-4 going to the school called delay. And then now we will hear this delay. And we can turn this up and down as a mix level once we click on the fader for the send amount.
Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas. Fuck these niggas. What? Pretty man. Yeah, yeah. All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the Ruler. All these beats in my email. I didn't got to choose it. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid.
So now we're filling out the gaps. And sometimes you don't need to boost something. Sometimes it's just having something in parallel that just fills out that gap. So we could do the same thing. You could do a stereo aux track, for example. Now this is all your people's taste. There's no one thing to do here. We could do parallel compression. This is really good for vocals as well as drums. Usually I use more aggressive compressors on parallel. So there's one called Smack. It's good for drums. Let's see if it works on this vocal. So we're going to load up Smack because we can add what are called harmonics, distortion. Let's add odd harmonics. This is going to give you more of a square wave. Even gives you more of a sawtooth. Actually, let's try even harmonics this time. And what we're going to do is do the same thing. We need to create a send. So we need to send the track, the metaphorical child, to a bus. The bus is going to be, in this case, a different bus, 5 and 6. We're going to tell the kid to get on the bus at 100%. Now we need to send that bus to the school called parallel compression. Okay, so now we're going to go to the parallel compressor track, open up bus 5 and 6 is going to go to that school. And then now we can use this as a mix level. The fader, the send fader. So let's start at 0.
Pretty bad. Yeah. All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the Ruler. All these beats in my email. I didn't got to choose it. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin.
So it's so subtle of a tone that for this one, we're just going to turn it down in volume. It's very subtle.
All this ice, I need a box.
Now also we can mess with the input signal to crank that up to make this work harder.
Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the Ruler. All these beats in my email.
And what we can do to hear this specifically is we could turn off what's called the output. So if you ever want to hear an effect by itself, click on your vocal track, go to no output, and then we can turn off the send for the delay.
I didn't got to choose.
So now we're hearing only the parallel compressor.
All this ice, shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it.
So this is what we're adding to the signal. Now, if we could drive it harder
like a diamond, feel like Rick the Ruler. All these beats in my email.
By turning up that input.
I didn't got to choose it. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid.
So it's just adding that subtle saturation to the signal. It's very subtle, but that's what we can add to the vocal if we want more aggression. So let's switch back the output. Let's go back.
It over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas.
So again, we don't want to trick ourselves by just making something louder. So we want to make sure we're turning it down.
All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the Ruler. All these beats in my email. I didn't got to choose it. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas. Fuck these niggas. What they do? Hopped out that year.
It's just adding like a very subconscious floor level for the vocal. It's so soft for this vocal. It's not making a dramatic difference.
All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the Ruler. All these beats in my email. I didn't got to choose it. Hopped in a booth.
Let's turn it up. I turned it down a little
then
too.
Went stupid. All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the Ruler. All these beats in my email. I didn't got to choose it.
It just opens up the range from about 400 to about 2K. It just opens up that range in my ears. Okay, so we can do more to the signal, like brighten it up to make it a little more apparent. So there's 1,000 things we can do. Again, there's no cookie cutter thing here. I'm not trying to make you guys memorize steps. And again, you will get the vocals to practice. Just go to busyworksbeats.com to load up the free downloads tab. And then we're going to pull this up.
Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas. Fuck these niggas. What they do? Hopped out that years and that years be the plane. Swapped out that rollie for that diamond from Plain Jane. All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot.
But again, what we're hearing more and more of as we compress and make this vocal kind of jump out more is the reverb of the room. And it's nearly impossible to take that out. So that's why it doesn't matter all these plugins that we're using. A bad recording is a bad recording. And I said that in the beginning so that I don't want to waste you guys' time. But the more we start processing the sound, the more we're starting to hear the flaws of the room.
All this.
But again, in context, you know, it's not that dramatically bad with the beat.
ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond.
So now our main thing is just measuring the volume of the vocal compared to the beat. It's pretty loud, so now we're just going to turn that down a little bit.
I feel like Rick the ruler. All these beats in my email, I didn't got to choosing.
And you can use increments of 3 to easily measure this.
In a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas, fuck these niggas, what they do? Hopped out that yours and that yours be the plane. Swapped out that rollie for that diamond from plane.
Let's open up the delay.
Quarterback. All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the ruler. All these beats in my email, I didn't got to choosing. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas, fuck these niggas, what they do? Hopped out that yours and that yours be the plane. Swapped out that rollie for that diamond from plain chain. Quarterback in plays, I'm the motherfucking. All this ice, I need a box.
So now I see myself pushing the levels. That's where we start getting into mastering, when I want stuff to just be louder. So there's one last plugin that's we could look at. It's called Soothe. Now this one's great for figuring out where your signal has flaws that you're just not trying to, it's hard to pinpoint where the flaws are. So let's start with the default.
All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the ruler. All these.
Okay, so here's the flat start it's called. We're going to turn on the low cut and high cut, and I'm going to move these around to figure out where in this signal do we have a lot of stuff going on. So I'm going to crank this up in depth, and I'm going to move this around.
Beats in my email, I didn't got to choosing. Hopped in a booth.
And what I could do is put it on delta mode so that we're only hearing. So we want it on fast attack too. I forgot to crank the attack down. It's pretty even. It's just little microscopic things. But usually sometimes we either have a lot of high end from about 2K to 8K, or we have too much mud around 200 to 400. That's usually where you find a lot of stuff building up. I'm going to crank up the depth a little bit more so we could see. So it's going to get bigger the higher up you go because of our ear, the way it works. So really the system's telling me around 2K, I have a lot of buildup that I probably didn't pick up on. So here I could just add this extra little thing to just tame some of that area to where it's not super aggressively harsh. This thing it works fast as a fast attack, fast release, so it's just quickly taking care of this frequency.
We don't trust these niggas, fuck these niggas, what they do? Hopped out that yours and that yours.
And I could add that final polish, or if you still feel like your vocal is boomy, you could pull this down to about 200 hertz to 400 hertz.
Swapped out that rollie for that diamond from plain chain. Quarterback in plays, I'm the motherfucking. All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler.
But it depends on the track. Again, every track is completely different. You know, especially if you have male versus, you know, woman singer, there's different octaves they can be in.
I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the ruler. All these beats in my email, I didn't got to choosing. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas, fuck these niggas, what they do? Hopped out that yours and that yours be the plane. Swapped out that rollie for that diamond from plain chain. Quarterback.
And this last plugin I'm going to use, but you know, I understand it's not for everybody, and I really wouldn't use it at this stage, but it's called Michelangelo. What I'll do is I'll create a master track. And again, this is not a mastering video. I'm just quickly showing you guys how to do this. Let's create a master. Now the master is where everything compiles. Okay, it's the sum of everything. So on the master, let's see what's happening on the master track. And also I wouldn't use the standard clip on just the beat. I would use it on the entire track. So let's add that to the master, because this could add more harmonics to the vocal. And this is why I said vocal mixing is not just this cookie cutter thing, because now we have to think about mastering as well and the tone we want for mastering. So
I'm the
I want a more aggressive tone, so let's saturate the sound.
motherfucking all this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the ruler.
And now we can control the elements going into the master. So I'm gonna crank the beat up going into.
All these beats in my email, I didn't got to choosing. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas, fuck these niggas, what they do? Hopped out that yours and that yours be the plane. Swapped out that rollie for that.
Now notice if I take off the NS1, we get a lot of energy back. So that's the trade-off, is NS1 does take out background noise, but it takes a lot of energy away from the openness of the mic.
All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the ruler. All these beats in my email, I didn't got to.
So for me, I'm willing to keep the high end to make the vocal feel more open than restricted for simple wall reflections. So that's a decision that you have to make. Okay, so in this case, I'm turning off NS1 because I just don't like how it makes the vocal sound too small.
Choosing, hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas, fuck.
But you could definitely hear it when it gets quiet, the air in the room.
These niggas, we don't trust these niggas.
So if we do that with NS1, we're not going to hear a lot of that background noise.
We don't trust these niggas, fuck these niggas, what they.
But it's like, is it worth? You have to decide if it's worth the entire track just for that little part. I'm gonna say let's take off NS1 for this vocal.
I feel like Rick the ruler. All these beats in my email, I didn't got to choosing. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin.
Again, this is not a mastering tutorial, but at this point I will load up Ozone 11. In fact, it might even be too much for this video tutorial to handle. But let me think, what else was I gonna show you guys in this track? Did we have reverb? We did reverb.
We don't trust these niggas, fuck these niggas, what they do? Hopped out that yours and that yours be the plane. Swapped out that rollie for that diamond from Plain Jane. Quarterback in plays, I'm the motherfucking man.
So now we can hear that vocal still a little loud compared to the beat.
Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the ruler. All these beats in my email, I didn't got to choosing. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas, fuck these niggas, what they do? Hopped out that yours and that yours be the plane. Swapped out that rollie for that diamond from Plain Jane. Quarterback in plays, I'm the motherfucking man.
I also think, that this compressor is taking away a lot of that life of the vocal. So sometimes I'll leave flaws in to keep more of the life of the sound. And that's the trade-off.
I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the ruler. All these beats in my email, I didn't got to choosing. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas, fuck these niggas, what they do? Hopped out that yours and that yours be the plane. Swapped out that rollie for that diamond from Plain Jane. Quarterback in plays, I'm the motherfucking man. All we do is win, win, win. Win, win, win. Win, win, win. All we do is win, win, win. Win, win, win. All I do is win, win, win. I need my twin to the end. Yeah. All I do is
I think we need more reverb.
win, win, win. To the end. With my twin. Let's get it. Hey, quarterback and play like I'm Tom Brady. I pull up to the concert stage, I feel like, yeah, baby. We serve a lot at Birdman, feel like, yeah, baby. I drive them phones crazy, cause I drive them Mercedes. I'm the fucking greatest, smoke like I'm Jamaican, you know they have.
So I guess a great thing to check right here, there's a plugin called Isolate. ISO and then L8. Great plugin. What we're going to do is solo different bands, and I do this with a monitor, but since you guys can't hear what I hear, we're going to use this plugin, and we're going to solo each frequency and just ask yourself, can you hear the vocal clearly in this frequency? If the answer is yes, you move to the next zone. If the answer is no, we correct it until we can. So again, this is what it takes time, but let's start with the low frequencies. And again, we should be able to hear the vocal clearly in this zone. Let's solo these low frequencies and see if we can hear the vocal. We can hear something's there, but if we did need more clarity, if I was a lower vocalist, I might think about going to the beat and side chaining the beat in that specific frequency range so that when the vocal speaks, it will lower the volume in that specific range. But this track, we don't need a lot of low frequencies. We want the 808 to live there. Let's move to the low mids.
Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't fuck these niggas. Hopped out there,
And here it's a little unclear. So let's go to the multiband. Let's load up. Let me think. Let's reset this low, these multiband. How do we reset this thing? Can we default? I'm not be able to default. So I might just delete this and then we'll open up another instance of the plugin and then we'll start from scratch. And what we'll do is we'll keep pushing the vocal until we get it to where it sounds clear. So we got to figure out, this is where we got to get a little microscopic, because now we're going to solo back and forth between the solo on the master and this solo. So this frequency is fine. And it looks like we're between 150 and 300. So 200 hertz is fine. So it must be the octave up. So let's go back. And again, this changes per artist as well. So let's drag this up. So this is the problem frequency that's making it muddy. Okay, so let's pull this down. Pull the threshold down. And also we can pull the attack down, even though it's at 5 milliseconds, we can make it even faster. And then what we can do is turn this off and on. So here's off, here's before. It should sound blurry. Okay, now let's turn it on. And now I can hear what I'm actually saying. So that's why I would solo each band and then go back to the problem area and fix which harmonic is causing the problem. So usually frequency works in multiples. So if I have, my voice is at 200 hertz, usually speaking, we're going to have something at 400 hertz and something at 600 and something at 800. It multiplies itself. So that's how I knew to go up an octave. So next, let's move to the mid frequencies. So here the clap is a little heavy. So again, we're not sitting here to mix the entire beat. It would take way too long. But here we would load up that multiband, focus in on that high mid frequency and lower that clap. Or if you have access to the actual clap, which I do on this track, we would lower that clap down. So here's the clap in this range. We're just going to turn that threshold down. For the beat, okay, we want that to be super fast attack and super fast release, because that clap doesn't last long. And that will tame that clap. You could also use a de-esser to do that. And also in the vocal, it gets hopped when I say hopped. Now what we're going to have to do though, I don't think we can add another band here. So because we use this one as a microscopic lasered in band, we're going to have to open up another multi-band to take care of that one specifically. So I'm going to move all my plugins basically down a notch and then add another multi-band so that we can take care of that higher frequency. We can also do this with an EQ. I'm just doing this to show you guys the plugins I would use. So we can solo this. And then we got to figure out which frequency. So it's a lot of energy from about 800 to 2K. This is where our ear is more sensitive. I could just take care of this whole range by pulling this threshold down. Again, faster attack to take care of that peak that shoots up really quickly on the transient. And then we're going to lower down the release time so it doesn't hold the compressor down so long. So let's hear it in context. Again, what we're going to do is bypass it. So here's before, and we're going to ask how aggressive that vocal is. Then we're going to put it on and see if it tamed it at all. It's like hopped in the booth. Every time I open my mouth, it gets a little aggressive. So now let's turn the plugin back on.
box, shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond, feel like Rick the ruler. All these beats in my email, I didn't got to choose it. Hopped in a booth.
And now when I say hopped, it goes hopped in a booth instead of hopped in a booth. It doesn't sound like it's stabbing the mic. It feels like it's slowly going up to the mic. So that compressor does a very subtle move there, but that takes care of that energy buildup.
All this ice, I need a box.
And again, the number one goal is just ask yourself, does it sound good in this specific frequency range? And what's making it sound cloudy or too aggressive? Go back, figure out that frequency range. Usually we're gonna use a multi-band compressor to tame it. Let's do the high mids. So I think the high frequencies here are of the vocal are being shadowed by the beat. So what we're gonna do, my tongue is getting twisted. What we are going to do is use a de-esser on the beat. This is again super specific, but I want those highs of the vocal to stand out. So what I'm gonna do is take care of that by using an all-around mode on the beat, and then figure out where we are in the frequency range using the audition mode here. Say somewhere around here, and then we're just going to take out about 3 dB and just ask, can we hear the vocal S's over the beat? But also this is what leveling is for, but we don't, for this video, I'm not going to go back to the beat and like turn stuff down. Okay, so now the S's of the vocal stand over the beat. And so now we can actually hear the S's of the vocal. So that's the way I'm thinking about this. Nextly, let's go to the high frequency. I think overall, I don't like those super high frequencies. I don't think it adds to this beat. I think it actually makes it sound more washed out. And so here's where I would use the Weiss de-esser, for example, for those really high frequencies. Now, again, this is such a small detail. A lot of people can't even hear this anyway, but you know, a lot of people just don't de-ess enough, and that's why their tracks don't really have that final polish. So we're talking about the range from about, you know, 8K and up. So I think it's getting pretty harsh up top. So let's use a high pass on the compressor just to tame just those frequencies above that point.
Swapped out that rollie for that diamond from plain chain. Caught up back in plays, I'm the motherfucking man. All we do is win, win, win. Win, win, win. Win, win, win.
And again, let's go back to our reference. Now, again, this reference has a lot more processing on individual sounds. It took hours. You know, we took 30 minutes. So just keep that in mind.
I need a box, shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond, feel like Rick the ruler.
And also I like slammed the limiter. Okay, so there's a lot of steps in mastering. We're missing a lot of pieces and parts here.
All this ice, I need a box, shout out to my jeweler.
I would say at this point,
I came and shot it like a diamond, feel like Rick the ruler. All these beats in my email, I didn't got to choose it. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas, fuck these niggas.
So at this stage, I would check the mono versus the stereo. And I believe this is the mid and this is the side. This might be mute and solo. How does this thing do mono? Let me figure this out. Oh, here we go. Stereo, mid, okay.
What they do? Hopped out that.
Make sure this is even on.
Years and that years be the plane. Swapped out that.
Okay, that is mid side.
All we do is win.
Okay, so I was right the first time. So this is, I believe, the mono button. This is the side button. And so side is the information, the difference between your left and your right ear. Middle is everything that's in common, basically. So now we can go back to figure out which one of these has too much energy in each of these zones. I still feel like that vocal could be a little clearer down there. And sometimes overly compressing can actually make it sound harder to hear because you're not getting the transient information to determine what's the beginning of a word. So that can be because of compression. Or we could add saturation, but we're not going to obsess right now. We don't have time. I still feel like the mids could be tamed more. Let's go back to the mid frequencies. Let's go back to the vocal. Where we at here? I have so many of them. I think it's this one. Let's make this.
Fuck these niggas, what they do? Hopped out that years and that years be the plane. Swapped out that rollie for that diamond from plain Jane. Caught up back in play.
Okay, now remember we're missing a lot of information because we're mono still. But we're listening for harshness. Okay, now let's move to the side signal. And here's where people forget to address the side signal because this is where a lot of frequency buildup happens. A lot of low frequencies on the side that we don't necessarily need. So that definitely opens up the track, the mid frequencies. It's nothing too crazy on the side except for that low mid frequency. So what we're going to do is go back and you can use an EQ for this. Anything with mid side information. We're going to use the Pro Q3. Let me see if I can pull that up. On Pro Q3, we can switch it to mid and side mode. So we're going to click here, switch this to side mode, and then we can solo this. This is the general area where we're hearing that buildup of the vocals going through like reverb and stuff. So let's just pull that down. Now we'll make the track feel more mono. So when you deal with this area, you can make it feel wider or warmer by pulling this up.
All we do is win, win, win. Win, win, win.
It makes each ear feel like it's a little more filled out. But we're going to pull this down to make it feel cleaner.
All I do is win, win, win. I need my twin, twin, twin. To the end, yeah, yeah. All I do is win, win, win. To the end, with my twin. Let's get it. Quarterback and play like I'm Tom Brady. I pull up to the concert stage, I feel like, yeah, baby. We serve a lot at Birdman, feel like, yeah, baby. I drive them phones crazy, cause I drive them Mercedes. Yeah, yeah. I'm the fucking greatest, smoke like I'm Jamaican. You know they hate it, run up on me, meet your maker. Run from yours truck, I feel like I'm the mayor.
So now the ultimate thing is just balancing the beat versus the vocal and then which frequency zones you want to feel more balanced. Now that's mastering, but I'm just showing you guys how to make your vocal get to where it needs to go before you get to all the mastering stuff. Last stage, well, not last stage, but one of the next stages would be to balance out the beat and the vocal.
All we do is win, win, win. Win, win, win. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the ruler. All these beats in my email, I didn't got to choose it. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas. Fuck these niggas. What they do? Hopped out that years and that years be the plane. Swapped out that rollie for that diamond from plain Jane. Caught up back in plays. I'm the motherfucking man. All we do is win, win, win. Win, win, win. Win, win, win. All we do is win, win, win. Win, win, win. All I do is win, win, win. I need my twin, twin, twin. To the end, yeah, yeah. All I do is win, win, win. To the end, with my twin. Let's get it. Quarterback and play like I'm Tom Brady. I pull up to the concert stage, I feel like, yeah, baby. We serve a lot at Birdman, feel like, yeah, baby. I drive them phones crazy, cause I drive them Mercedes. Yeah, yeah. I'm the fucking greatest, smoke like I'm Jamaican. You know they hate it, run up on me, meet your maker. Run from this laser.
So again, the last step I would do here, I'm trying not to like make this an hour long, which it probably already is just go back and forth with the low mid of the vocal and see how much we can take away without it feeling hollow. versus the beat taking that
All
zone.
this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the ruler. All these beats in my email. I didn't got to choose it. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas. Fuck these niggas. What they do? Hopped out that Urus and that Urus be the plane. Swapped out that Rollie for that diamond from Plain Chain. Caught up back in plays. I'm the motherfucking man. All we do is win, win, win. Win, win, win. Win, win, win. All we do is win, win, win. Win, win, win. All I do is win, win, win. I need my twin, twin, twin. To the end, yeah, yeah. All I do is win, win, win. To the end, with my twin. Let's get it. Quarterback and play like I'm Tom Brady. I pull up to the concert stage, I feel like, yeah, baby. We serve a lot at Birdman, feel like, yeah, baby. I drive them phones crazy, cause I drive them Mercedes. I'm the fucking greatest, smoke like I'm Jamaican. You know they hate it, run up on me, meet your maker. Run from this laser, I pull up in a Urus truck, I feel like I'm the mayor. All we do is win, win, win. Win, win, win. Win, win, win.
So again, we're not trying to smash this track to death with more compression and limiting. So we'll just, again, here's where we started. Okay, we can't hear it.
All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and
So super slam, super saturated, super just gritty. So that's just a lot of saturation and a lot of compression.
all this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the ruler. All these beats in my email. I didn't got to choose it. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas. Fuck these niggas. What they do? Hopped out that Urus and that Urus be the plane. Swapped out that Rollie for that diamond from Plain Chain. Caught up back in plays. I'm the motherfucking man. All we do is win, win, win. Win, win, win. Win, win, win. All we do is win. Yeah, all this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the ruler. All these beats in my email. I didn't got to choose it. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas. Fuck these niggas. What they do? Hopped out that Urus and that Urus be the plane. Swapped out that Rollie for that diamond from Plain Chain. Caught up back in plays. I'm the motherfucking man. All we do is win, win, win. Win, win, win. Win, win, win. All we do is win, win, win. Win, win, win. All I do is win, win, win. I need my twin, twin, twin. To the end, yeah, yeah. All I do is win, win, win. To the end, with my twin. Let's get it. Quarterback and play like I'm Tom Brady. I pull up to the concert stage, I feel like, yeah, baby. We serve a lot at Birdman, feel like, yeah, baby. I drive them phones crazy, cause I drive them Mercedes. I'm the fucking greatest, smoke like I'm Jamaican. You know they hate it, run up on me, meet your maker. Run from this laser, I pull up in a Urus truck, I feel like I'm the mayor. All we do is win, win, win. Win, win, win. Win, win, win. All we do is win, win, win. Win, win, win. All I do is win, win, win. I need my twin, twin, twin. To the end, yeah. All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the ruler. All these beats in my email. I didn't got to choose it. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas. Fuck these niggas. What they do? Hopped out that Urus and that Urus be the plane. Swapped out that Rollie for that diamond from Plain Chain. Caught up back in plays. I'm the motherfucking man. All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the ruler. All these beats in my email. I didn't got to choose it. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas. Fuck these niggas. What Hopped out that Urus and that Urus be the plane. Swapped out that Rollie for that diamond from Plain Chain. Caught up back in plays, I'm the motherfucking man. All we do is win, win, win. Win, win, win. Win. All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it.
So there's another, since we're already like an hour in, we might as well just keep going. Let's use another aux track. Let's use this for saturation. This is for more like filling out the sound and for more excitement on the high frequencies. Let's pull this towards our send. Let's change this color. What we're going to do is send a duplicate of the vocal as a bus. We're going to use bus 7 and 8. Actually, we don't need to keep using different buses. We could, I don't want to complicate it, but let's just use a different bus. In this case, 7 and 8. And then we're going to send all of it over to the saturation as an input. So 7 and 8. And then now we're going to load up a saturator. So I'm going to use FabFilter's Saturn because I can create a lot of different tones quickly in that plugin. So let's use FabFilter and Saturn 2. I like the warm tape mode, but there's different saturation modes. And we're going to send the vocal over to that saturator. And we could we could solo out different frequency ranges as well.
All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the ruler. All these beats in my email, I didn't got to choose it. Hopped in a booth, then went.
So I'll exaggerate the sound so we could hear it, and then we'll pull it back. Also, I'll turn down the output gain so we're not just hearing loudness.
Stupid over Metro Boomin.
So you can hear that zzz sound.
We don't trust this nigga. Ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler.
So we can add that, but just in a more tamed way.
I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the ruler. All these beats in my email, I didn't got to choose it. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas. Fuck these niggas. What they do? Hopped out that Urus and that Urus be the plane. Swapped out that Rollie for the diamond from Plain Chain. Caught up back in plays, I'm the motherfucking man. All we do is win, win, win. All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the ruler. All these beats in my email, I didn't got to choose it. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas. Fuck these niggas. What they do? Hopped out that Urus and that Urus be the plane. Swapped out that Rollie for that diamond from Plain Chain. Caught up back in plays, I'm the mother.
Let's keep this output on 0. We could use the output fader on the actual track.
Fucking man. All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the ruler. All these beats in my.
The vocal didn't need more saturation, so I was just checking that just to make sure we're not missing any frequency gaps.
Email, I didn't got to choose it. Hopped in a booth.
And with saturation, I like to make it sound softer with chorusing or flanger, just something to widen out the saturation so it's not so dense and harsh.
Went stupid over Metro Boomin.
But this also widens out the sound when we add chorus.
We don't trust these niggas. Fuck these. All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the ruler. All these beats in my email, I didn't got to choose it. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas. Fuck these niggas. What they do? Hopped out that Urus and that.
I've added a little more touches to the master track. This isn't a full master because the beat isn't fully mixed. There's no reverb on certain instruments. Certain instruments are too loud. This is just the 2 bus of a quick unmixed beat with a vocal. So the beat still needs mixing as well.
All this ice, I need a box. Shout out to my jeweler. I came and shot it like a diamond. Feel like Rick the ruler. All these beats in my email, I didn't got to choose it. Hopped in a booth, then went stupid over Metro Boomin. We don't trust these niggas. Fuck these niggas. that year, speed a plane. Swapped out that rollie for that diamond from Plain Jane. Caught up back in place, I'm the motherfucking man. All we do is win, win, win. Win, win, win. Win, win, win. All we do is win, win, win. Win, win, win. All I do is win, win, win. I need my twin, twin, twin. To the end, yeah, yeah. All I do is win, win, win. To the end, with my twin. Let's get it. Hey, quarterback and play like I'm Tom Brady. I pull up to the concert stage, I feel like, yeah, baby. We serve a lot at Birdman, feel like, yeah, baby. I drive them phones crazy, cause I drive them Mercedes. I'm the fucking greatest. Smoke like I'm Jamaican. You know they hate it. Run up on me, meet your maker. Run from this laser. I pull up in a yours truck. I feel like I'm the mayor.
All right, if you guys want to learn mixing, just go to busyworksbeats.com/mixing fundamentals. You guys can learn how to mix acoustic stuff, vocals, your beats, you know, everything from compression to EQ to saturation, every component of mixing. And we go step by step. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/mixing fundamentals to learn more. I'll leave a link below. Peace.